everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rochelle from Rochelle.Handmade.Designs, and in this video we are doing a pattern review, for this hooded anorak jacket that I have on utilizing Simplicity 9354. This is also a what you're working on Wednesday, so I will tell you the JOANN'S pattern sale as well in this video. Now, before we get started, go ahead and hit the like button and the subscribe button, and also turn on the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this pattern review so I could definitely tell you what's going to be on sale this week at JOANN'S. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is give you that table of contents. So I'm going to do the pattern review first, and then I'm going to tell you what's coming up this upcoming week, followed by the JOANN'S pattern sale this week. You wouldn't want to miss it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into that pattern review. All right, so the pattern description says for Simplicity 9354. So on the back of the pattern, it just basically says it's a Mrs. Jacket costume with mask and hat. Now, really what this is, when you look and dive into the pattern, it is a hooded anorak jacket that has raglan sleeves. It has front separating zipper closure and ties to quench your waist. You can also add some fun details to create like a shark, which you will see on pattern piece A. I believe it's view A. You can also create a panda, which is view B. You could create a cat, view C, which I want to do at some point in time. And then view D, you have the enchanted godmother as well. Now the pattern includes a tall hat with cat ears, and it also has like your mask. For the mask, you have different things that you can put on there, like the applique to coordinate your costume as well. Now for this pattern, I did not use the mask because really you could buy like 50-cent mask from JOANN, so I didn't see a need to do that. But that's the pattern description. Now let's go ahead and move over to the sewing skills. So the sewing skills for this pattern, I will definitely say this is more of your intermediate to advanced beginner. So I'm going to say a beginner can sew it because the construction of the jacket itself can be constructed by a beginner. Now, I know some people may have a problem with raglan sleeves, but it is not that difficult to do a raglan sleeve. It's like doing your other sleeve, the regular sleeve. The only difference is the sleeve attaches to the entire body. That entire armhole of your jacket is a raglan sleeve. So it's not that difficult to do the sleeve portion of it. The reason why I would say this is more of your intermediate advanced beginner is because the way that you have to attach, 1, the hood, 2, the facing, and 3, the separating zipper. If you have never done a separating zipper, the best way to learn how to do a separating zipper is to try a bomber jacket, because a bomber jacket has a separating zipper. So that may be one of the things you may want to try before doing something like this, to basically be able to sew in a separating zipper. Now it is different than sewing an exposed zipper or invisible zipper. So a separating zipper is completely different because you want your zipper to line up on both sides, and you want your seam lines even as well. So without trying something else, getting yourself more knowledge of how to do a zipper, you may not want to try a separating zipper right off the bat. However, this is one of the jackets you would want to sew to have like a quick throw on jacket for you to wear on some of these breezy mornings that we have here in Orlando. So for the sewing skills, I will say that it's best for a intermediate beginner or advanced beginner. Fabric used for this pattern. So the fabric that I use for this pattern is 100% Ankara print. I purchased the fabric from Wax Prints Lace and More on Etsy. I purchased this fabric. It was in one of my Etsy Ankara print hauls way back in, I want to say June of last year. I think it's when I purchased this fabric. When I purchased this fabric, I had no idea what I was going to sew with it. And then I noticed that it would be great to utilize a dress. The dress is coming up. in my upcoming plans. So I will be pairing this jacket again with a dress that I will be making pretty soon. So that's why when I knew I was going to sew this particular dress, which I'll talk about here shortly, I knew that this fabric would go amazing with the dress, which you will see this jacket again paired with that dress pretty soon. So that's how I was able to sew this jacket together, because I feel like I am so glad I didn't just rush into a project. I knew exactly what I wanted to sew with this fabric once the pattern came out, and I was like, oh, I have a fabric that would look so amazing for this jacket. Even though this is a costume pattern, you do not have to do a costume with these patterns. You could think outside the box and utilize whatever fabric you want to create the garment that you want. All right, so that is the fabric used for this fabric. The fabric used for this pattern is 100% Ankara print cotton from wax prints, lace, and more. The notions used. So the notions that I use for this pattern is, of course, your coordinating thread. You need an 18-inch separating zipper as well. And then I created my own bias binding, utilizing just some scraps from the fabric itself to create my drawstring. So on the photos, you will notice that there is no drawstring. If you're really looking at the photos, there's not a drawstring. Reason being is because I literally took photos immediately after I washed the jacket and I ironed it out, because if you guys don't know by now, I had someone DM me, by the way. If you guys don't know by now that I can't stand wrinkled anything, nothing that I do can be wrinkled. So I iron my fabric before using it. I wash it before using it. So I take care of all of my stuff like that simply for a moment. And also I did get a DM, because someone did DM me and say, I could tell that you were in the military, because honey, that top that you created have creases on the sleeves. And that was the top that I created about a week or so ago, which was the puff sleeve top using New Look 6704. I'll go ahead and put that up in the card if you are worried about what the top looked like. But I thought it was funny because when I was younger, my family did not do wrinkled clothes. I don't do that with my children either. So I just love everything pressed. So I'm one of those people that's like, give me that shirt. Let me go ahead and press that. So yeah, I thought it was hilarious when I got that DM about my top being creased in the sleeves. But if you notice, it's creased in the sleeves as well for this jacket, because I did iron it immediately before going to take the photos. So back to what I was saying, the notions used, those are the only notions that you need. You need your separating zipper, 18-inch. You also need your coordinating thread. And then if you want to make your drawstring, just completely cut up a couple of strips of bias tape, or you can use some twill tape. Now for me, I didn't think twill tape would look great for this fabric. So I just really made my own bias tape, my drawstring, and I think it looks amazing with it. So those are the notions used for this jacket. Pattern sizing. So the pattern comes in I wouldn't say one size, but one size range. So the pattern comes in extra small to extra large. The size that I cut was a medium. So for the bust, the medium gave me a 45.5-inch bust, which was great because if you guys know that I always go for a finished garment measurement of 43 and a half, not to exceed a 44. However, because this is a jacket and I can layer it, 45 is great for me for finished garment measurement. However, when it comes to the waist and the hips, the waist for a medium was like a 28 to 30. So of course I had to size that up. And I sized it up to a 36 because the oversized bagginess that I wanted. And then of course the hips I sized up to a 46 because you guys know that my hips are a 44. And with that being said, you guys know that I always do about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of room depending on what I'm making. So with that being said, the bust is a 45.5. The waist I did a 36 and the hips I did a $46 for this entire anorak jacket, of course. The pattern pieces used. So for this jacket, believe it or not, it's only 7 pieces. And when I say it's only 7 pieces, it's only 7 pieces. So this jacket was sewn together in 2 days, not bragging, but you could completely do, what I did is I did the outside shell first, one day. And then the second day, I went ahead and did the hood, the facing, and I actually did the sleeves the same day. So I did the entire shell, which is the front, the back, and the sleeves one day. And it took me roughly about 2.5 hours because I'm serging and all that good stuff, which I could have lined the entire jacket, but I didn't see the need to do that. So that took me about 2.5 to 3 hours to do the shell of the jacket. And then the next day I did the hood, the facing, and the zipper. And that took me probably another 2 hours, I would say. The hood came together completely fine. Like, it was no issues with the hood whatsoever. Normally, sewing around that curve of a hood, it would normally be a little, time consuming, but it came together so easy. So I was surprised for that. But back to the pattern pieces used. So you need pattern piece number 1, which of course is your front. Pattern piece number 2, your back. Pattern piece number 3, your sleeve front. Pattern piece number 4, your sleeve back. Pattern piece number 5, your pocket, if you want that kangaroo style pocket. Pattern piece number 6, your hood. And pattern piece number 7, your front facing and your hood. So for pattern piece number 7, your front facing and the hood, it is a facing and a hood together in one pattern piece for you to line your hood as well as the inside. Now, speaking of the hood, I lined mine in black. Reason being is because I do have yellow fabric, but I just felt like it would give that pop and that classy, sexy feel to it if I did black. So I just went ahead and did black. Now, when I did black, my husband seen it and saw it, and he was like, "Ooh, I like that." So I asked him if he wanted one, and thank goodness he said, "Nah, because and this is exactly how he talks. Nah, because it doesn't get really cold here, and I don't wear lots of jackets." And I was like, "Well, I do." So he doesn't want one, which is great. And if he wants one, he can wear mine, which he won't do that either because he's not a heavy on jackets and coats and stuff like that, so it is what it is. But anyway, that is the pattern used, the pattern pieces used for this jacket. Modifications. Did I make any modifications to this pattern outside of sizing it up at the waist and the hips? No. I did not make any modifications whatsoever, but I do think that if I sew this again, I would do side seam pockets instead of that pocket in the front, like the kangaroo style pocket. I just think for this jacket, a side seam pocket would work better for my liking versus the pockets in the front, like a kangaroo style pocket. But other than that, I did not make any modifications to this pattern. Did it look like the photos are drawing on the pattern envelope? Yeah, it did. The only difference is that on the pattern envelope for view A, which I have the pattern here. So for view A, if you notice that you do not see the zipper on this pattern, and that's perfectly fine. I wanted the zipper to show a little bit because I did not use a snap to keep it closed. Because of the style that I was going for, I wanted that zipper to show where you could zip up and down. But I do believe that the way that the pattern is styled, it is supposed to be kind of like a hidden zipper on the inside by the facing of your jacket. Now, speaking of the zipper, I do want to mention that the separating zipper is actually attached to the facing. Now, one thing I do want to mention is what I did was, instead of sewing the zipper with both sides attached, I just sewn the zipper to the facing instead of both pieces. And It doesn't say that in the instructions, of course. It just says attach the zipper to the facing. However, if you think about it, the facing is already attached to the front, so you have to basically sew through one layer instead of two layers or both layers of your fabric. So if you do this jacket, make sure to make note on your pattern piece to sew the zipper only on the facing, all right? All right, are the instructions easy to follow? Yes, the instructions was so clear to follow. That's why I say that this jacket could be for a beginner, because the instructions are, one, easy to follow. It is straightforward. There's no guess, you really don't have to guess what you need to do next. I don't remember seeing anything that could be tricky with the instructions either. So yeah, the instructions are easy to follow. Likes and dislikes for this pattern. There's no dislikes whatsoever, other than the only thing that I could say is a dislike is the top portion of your zipper. Now, I think what should have happened with the pattern is, instead of attaching the facing first, I think the pattern instructions should have said to attach the zipper to your facing first and then attach the facing to your main garment. Then that way you don't have to fold your zipper back onto itself to give a clean finish. The zipper would be encased into the facing, then that way it would already be finished instead of trying to hand sew zippers and all of that good stuff. But other than that, I think that's the only thing that could have been worded better or done better. But because I have sewn this already, I know exactly what I would do if I decide to sew this jacket again, which I do plan on doing this again, probably in the springtime, because I want to do it as a costume for the Cat in the Hat Read Across America, which happens around March 2nd, I believe, Dr. Seuss' birthday. I plan on doing this again, and I may consider doing a sew-along for it as well. I'm not sure because I have to look at my schedule, but I do plan on at least doing it again during that time, because I know one of my children have something going on for Read Across America that week. So I just feel like it would probably be a good time to do it then. Would I sew this pattern again? Yes, definitely. I would sew this pattern again. So this pattern is up there with my TNT pattern for a blazer. So this is like an easy lightweight jacket that I could do again, just like my TNT pattern for the blazer, which is New Look 6035, which I will go ahead and link above. If you have not seen this pattern, I actually did a sew along for New Look 6035 as well. So this would be a TNT pattern for a quick throw on lightweight jacket that wouldn't take me no more than 2 days to do. So yes, I would sew it again. Would I recommend this pattern to others? Of course. Okay, yes, I would definitely recommend that everyone have at least one lightweight jacket in your wardrobe, because I'm telling you, it's nothing like, or actually you could put it in a car and just have a jacket in your car to throw on if you get cold. That's what I'm going to do. So this jacket may actually stay in my car to throw on if it gets really cold at night or early morning or something like that, because it is chilly in the morning here. So yeah, I would definitely say I would recommend this to others, of course. All right, now my pattern rating. So for my pattern rating, I am stamping this bad boy a 5 out of 5. There is no dislikes whatsoever for this pattern. I love, 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 love this pattern. As you could see, this is an amazing pattern for a lightweight jacket. So yes, I'm going to stamp this as a 5 out of 5. All right. Well, I hope you like my pattern review. Now that I talked about my pattern review for Simplicity 9354, let's go ahead and talk about what's coming up this upcoming week. All right, so for this week, I have a few things coming up between the dates of January, today, January 12th, all the way up to the 18th. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to finish up my blazer, which is, if you guys know, I know you guys gotta grill me for this. I have talked about this tailored blazer, Simplicity 8844. I have talked about that for months. Now, I wanna say that because I said I was doing a sew along for it, the sew along is halfway done, more than halfway done, because I do have the body of the jacket together. I just need to sew on the lining, okay? So once I sew on the lining and the sleeves, it will be done, and I will post this sew along for you guys, okay? So that's one of the things I want to get done this week. Another thing that I want to start working on is my next dress, which is part of the dress series, which is my tie front dress. I want to probably work on it over the weekend, just cutting it out, and I'll sew it together sometime next week, like next Monday or Tuesday, Martin Luther King's Day, or next Tuesday, to have it ready probably the week after, because I do have some things coming up next week as well, busy work-wise, that is. So that's another thing that I want to work on this upcoming week. Another thing I want to work on is a button-down shirt. The button-down shirt that I am looking at doing is, I don't want to give the pattern away, but it will be a sew-along as part of my 100 likes for a video. And I did mention in a couple of my pattern hauls that if I get 100 likes on that video, I will do a sew-along. So I plan on working on that next week to have that sew along for you the week after, possibly, because you guys know with these sew alongs, it does take a minute to edit and upload. So that's another thing that I will be working on. I have already written down all the ones that already has 100 likes on it, and I will definitely do the sew along for it. I have picked the pattern and everything. I just will not disclose the pattern that I chose. However, you will like the pattern that I chose, for sure. So those are the things that I plan on working on this week. Now that I talked about what I will be working on this upcoming week, let's go ahead and get into that JOANN'S pattern sale and the patterns that I picked up during the last sale for JOANN. All right, so the JOANN'S pattern sale. So I finally received a ad. I mean, it's been roughly about like what, almost 2 months since the last time JOANN'S decided to send me an ad. All right, so this ad runs today, January 13th to January 26th. Now, there's many things in the ad that, you know, I would consider doing. So one of the things would be thread. Buy 3, get 3 free. So if you need some thread, this is the time that you want to get some thread. And that thread sale runs starting today, January 13th, and will end Saturday, January 15th. All right. Another thing, if you need net or tulle, 89 cents. It will run from today. Well, sorry. Take that back. Yes, today is Wednesday. All right. So take that back. My bad. The sale for the thread is Thursday, tomorrow, January 13th, and will end the 15th, okay? Let me correct myself. January 13th through the 15th, Thursday through Saturday. The tulle, 89 cents, runs from Thursday to Saturday, the 13th through the 15th. Also, I want to mention the pattern sale. Pattern sale number 1. McCall's pattern sale is on sale for $1.99, which will run starting tomorrow, Thursday, January 13th, and will run until Martin Luther King's Day, January 17th, which is Monday. So you have an extra day to pick up some McCall's patterns, all right? Another thing is, because I'm on the pattern sale, January 20th through January 24th, I believe. Let me make sure, correct my dates for sure. 23rd, I'm sorry. So January 20th through January 23rd, Thursday through Sunday, there will be a Butterick sale for $1.99. These are doorbusters. So you guys know that you cannot use coupons on patterns because the patterns are already on sale. So Butterick will be on sale, $1.99, starting not this upcoming week, the following week, which I will say again in my What You're Working On Wednesday next week, January 20th through the 23rd, you have that Butterick sale, $1.99. All right. Anything else in the ad that I could think of that you may be interested in is they have a lot of 30% off fabric. If you're interested in that, go ahead and pick you up some fabric. If you're interested right now, you guys know that I am not picking up fabric at the moment from JOANN'S or anywhere else because I want to utilize as much fabric that I have in my stash. So this year is the year of utilizing stash in your fabric. Utilizing fabric in your stash. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Utilizing the fabric that's in your stash. The only thing that I would probably be buying pretty much if I don't have it in my stash is notions. So buttons, zippers, threads, stuff like that I will be buying. I know my thread situation is starting to look a little bare, so I will get those as needed. Now that I talked about the JOANN'S pattern sale, one thing I want to mention is if you guys do not have that pattern sale, my girl Talisha from CreativiteebyT have made the JOANN'S pattern ad, okay? She's in the pattern ad, all right? The ad for JOANN'S. So if you know CreativiteebyT, Talisha, we have done so many collaborations together. Go over to her channel, say congratulations. You can even hit her up on Instagram, DM her and say congratulations for making the ad. That is huge. And the reason why I say it's huge is because everyone tends to see this. If you a crafter, you will see, that so many people have seen you in these ads. So, it's great that she was able to make the ad for Black History Month next month. And she was featured. JOANN'S liked something that she did, and she was featured in the ad. So that's it. And now that I showed you the JOANN'S pattern sale, let's go ahead and get into those patterns that I picked up during the last sale. The first pattern is Butterick 6654. Now, I have sewn this before. I did a peplum for my daughter and myself. I'll go ahead and put the picture up here. But this time I want to just do a dress. And that's why I picked up the pattern again, because I chopped off the skirt and everything. Now, one thing I will say is during the Mommy and Me, I picked up a total of 7 yards. It was not enough. So I'm thinking that for this pattern, I would definitely need a full 5 yards for myself for sure. Now, I'm not doing a Mommy and Me for this. So I would think 5 to 5.5 yards would work for this pattern. Once again, it's Butterick 6654. Now, the other patterns that I picked up, okay, listen. 2 of the patterns that I picked up, I told someone to pick up, and I seen it in their pattern haul last month in December. The other 2 patterns I seen from Talisha's, by the way, CreativiteebyT, December, I believe, pattern hauls, okay? So the 2 that I told her to pick up, that I picked up myself, I didn't tell her as in Talisha, I told someone else to pick up. But the first one is Vogue 1550. Actually, I know why I picked it up. This was on the pattern list to pick up for someone in Jamaica. And I liked it, and they didn't have 2 of them, so I just made sure to write it down and pick it up for myself when it's back in the store. However, it never made it back to my store, so these patterns were sent to me from Miami, and one of my friends in Miami sent these to me, and I am so grateful for her. Thank you so much. You know who you are. All right, so this one is Vogue 1550, and you guys, I love the handkerchief in the top and the pants. So I have fabric to use for this anyway, so you may see this coming up sometime this year. This is Vogue 1550. The next one is Vogue 1544. Listen, I love that back. I love the front. I just love that collar detail to this Vogue pattern, and this is a Vogue 1544. Love this pattern. Thank you, Miss Jamaica, for sending me to pick it up for yourself. And I decided to pick it up for myself as well, or get it sent to me, right? Now these last two patterns, it's because of Talisha, Creativity by T. She made me do it and go and get these two patterns because it was in her pattern haul. So the first one is a Vogue 1695. I picked it up for view A. I love that bow, and I can see myself making this for the Little Red Dress project this year. I could also see it for Valentine's Day. I can see it for Mother's Day. I can see it for any special occasion that I have coming up this year, which I do have something coming up this year outside of my anniversary, right? Or my birthday, right? All right, so this is Vogue 1695. And the last pattern, because of Talisha, is a Vogue 1664. It is this jumpsuit. I love this, and I want to make it in sequin as well, like I see for the model. View B is what I'm looking for. However, I do not like too many things that's sleeveless, so I would definitely put like some balloon sleeves or bell sleeves or something with this pattern to have a nice flowy sleeve, okay? So New Look 6698 would be a great sleeve to put with this. By the way, I did a sew along for it that I posted over the weekend, so you could go ahead and check that video out. After this one, I'll go ahead and put that in the card as well. This is Vogue 1664. Now that's all the patterns that I picked up during the last pattern sale that we had. So that's all that I have for you in this pattern review, or in this episode of What You're Working On Wednesday. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. So I'll catch you in the next video, and as always, keep sewing.